Hello, everybody. This is Casey here with Mountain Cove Home and Family, and today I want to talk to you about shipping furniture on Etsy and what happens when you run into a problem, what kind of problems can happen. And so I thought I would just share from my experience some things that we've learned, some experiences that we've happened when just kind of crazy things go wrong. And so, like with each experience you have when it comes to refinishing furniture, selling it, marketing it, shipping it, you learn every single time that you do, something with that with furniture. So, I'll start with there was an armoire that I had made over, like my husband, Louis, he completely did a custom shelving unit inside on the interior. And this armoire was for a customer in Pennsylvania. It was a custom order. She through Etsy. She contacted us through Etsy. It was going to be a computer workstation armoire with lots of cubbies and different types of shelves inside. She was working from home since COVID started, and she was also homeschooling, and she needed her own space to store everything. So it was going to be a birthday gift for her 40th birthday, and we completed the custom order. And in another video, I'll go through how we do custom orders on Etsy and walk you through the process of what we do in case that's helpful. And if you have any questions, feel free to shoot those to me in a comment or through our Facebook page, Mountain Cove Home and Family. So this armoire, we listed once it was complete. It was listed on UShip from Missouri to Pennsylvania, close to Pittsburgh, from the Missouri Ozarks, southern Missouri, close to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It cost about $550 to $600 to ship this armoire, is what it was, what the shipping fees were. And so it was a highly reviewed shipper on UShip. Like, he had just rave reviews. Everybody loved him. He had been a professional mover in like his previous job, and he did that for years before going out on his own. And he even moved, he worked in the specialty furniture department of this moving company that he worked for. So he moved the high dollar, heavy, hard to move items like pool tables and grand pianos and huge armoires. So he was very familiar with moving and hauling and shipping the type of furniture that we had that we needed to ship. So he showed up and he had a 28-foot trailer. So I'm going to say this because this was where the first thing went wrong. Previously, when shippers had showed up, they had smaller trailers, and it wasn't a really big deal to get into, like into our space to pick it up. But our driveway is kind of short and steep. We live in the Ozarks, so if you know anything about the Ozarks, there are a ton of hills. It is just pretty much all hills. There's nothing that is flat. Very rarely is it something flat. So our driveway is like this, and and we're right off of a highway. So there was no way that his 28-foot trailer was going to be able to get down our driveway without bottoming out. And so what had happened was he'd pulled off to the side of the road. It's a highway, but it's not a big highway, but it's very busy. And traffic was blocked, and then he had to haul the armoire. And we had listed it correctly in like the size of it and how much it weighed, but he wasn't counting on us having a steep driveway. And so it was a huge struggle for him, and nobody was home but me to help him to get it up our rocky, hilly driveway, which probably about 40 feet, trying to push it up on the dolly. To his trailer. So that took a long time. And then while that's happening, traffic was backing up on the highway, and the sheriff pulled up and it's like, you guys cannot be blocking traffic like this. And it was also kind of a dangerous situation because I was out there kind of trying to wave traffic on, but the sheriff was accommodating, but the shipper was worried he was going to get a ticket. Anyway, he got the armoire up. It was loaded onto his trailer. It was the last thing to go onto his trailer, which was already full. And on his trailer, in the back of it, was a 1950 something Cadillac car. So there's a 1950 something Cadillac in the back of his trailer, big old rusty guy, and he had it strapped appropriately with huge like straps that they were like two 3,500 pound, like that was their weight limit, what they were able to hold and restrain, two 3,500 pound straps. And then he had 2x4s up in front of the Cadillac as like additional support and restraint. And then there were some antique motorcycles to the side, and then my armoire. So he goes to deliver it, and it takes him a couple of days to get to. He had other stops along the way, and so he's almost to Pittsburgh, and he called me after the delivery. I'll back up a little bit and tell you what happened when he was almost to Pittsburgh, to the delivery area. But he called and told me, and he said, so the Cadillac ran into the armoire during his delivery. And I was like, of course it did, right? Like, if something is going to go wrong, it's going to be something big. And so here is what happened is that, and I will stop right here actually and show you a picture of the armoire and the custom work that had been done on it. So you can see the before picture of the armoire and then the after picture of what had happened to it when the Cadillac ran into it. Okay, so that's what it looked like before the Cadillac hit it. Now let's look at what had happened to it after the Cadillac hit it. And what had happened, I'll tell you, is that as he was driving into like close to Pittsburgh, he was going down like a almost a mountain incline, but it was very steep. He and I believe him, like I trust him. He said he was going way under speed limit because he is pulling a huge trailer, but somebody had cut in front of him, an SUV passed him, cut in front of him, and he had to slam on his brakes. When he slammed on his brakes, the Cadillac lurched forward, backward, and then forward again really hard and ran into my armoire that is supposed to be delivered to my Etsy customer that she paid over $2,000 for this armoire. All said and done, it was about $2,500. So not a cheap product, that had been damaged. And so when he went to deliver it, the next problem was, well, before I get into when he went to deliver it, let's take a look to see at the damage that had been done to the armoire and pay attention to the top crust of it. When you see the lines going the top of the armoire, that was the damage where the boards had been cracked and almost in perfect looking cracks all the way across. So that was part of the damage that had been done. So let's have a look at that right now. So, as you can see, there was definitely the damage at the top that was done. But I have to tell you, it for a Cadillac crashing into the armoire while the trailer was going down like a steep mountain incline, the damage was not as bad as that I would have expected it to be. And also at the bottom of the armoire, there were some levelers that had been, like, two of the levelers had been broken off. So if you don't know, if you're unfamiliar with what levelers are, they're just like little metal, kind of like peg type feet that it sits on to help it balance it. And they just get screwed into the armoire. So when he arrived, here's the third thing that went wrong. So the first thing was, he and I did not communicate well. Like, he didn't ask me and I didn't ask him about the pickup. Like, was there appropriate space? He didn't ask me, is there appropriate space for him to park his trailer? And I didn't ask him, how big is your trailer? Are you going to be able, like, is it going to be able to get into my driveway? So that was a misstep. That's something that I learned, and I think he learned from the experience. And then the next thing was that had happened, of course, was the Cadillac crashing into the armor. And then the third thing that went wrong on this delivery is this client lived in, which I did not know, and she didn't think to tell me, and I didn't think to ask, and the shipper didn't think to ask. But when he got there, he had no place to park because he had such a huge trailer, and she lived in a historic district. They had small homes and tight, narrow streets, and everything was all like bunched together. And so it took him 2.5 hours of trying to drive through her neighborhood to find a place to park and there's cars parked along the street, so he had trouble maneuvering in between the cars on the narrow roads with the trailer, finding a place to park. He finally was able to back it into her driveway after 2.5 hours of trying to be able to do this. And this is an expert driver and shipper. Like, he's really good and familiar with a trailer. It's not due to his lack of expertise. It was just a situational, environmental, that just the location of the place that was causing the problems and the size of his trailer. And so those were things that I learned to think about. But he was able to back the trailer in, and he had told me, he said, I literally had like a 1-inch clearance to get it into her space. And so it was just such a stressful time. And then the last thing that went wrong was this client was going to, and we had arranged, I always tell my clients it's front door delivery. You'll need somebody there to help you get it inside. If you want to work with the shipper and pay them extra to help them come in and set it up, that's a situation between you and the shipper. But the free shipping that I do includes front door delivery. So they'll deliver it to your doorstep, but not inside delivery and setup. So she had arranged for somebody to come and help get it in. And when the shipper arrived, he showed her the damage. He explained what happened. She was such a gracious customer, and she had been the whole time that I was working with her. And he offered to pay her for it, and she declined it. And so he helped her and the person she had there to help get the armor inside, but I had to go up 3 steps to get inside. And so she had wanted her armoire to go upstairs in her home, which I didn't know this, and she didn't tell me this previously. And as it turned out, like, her office was upstairs. Her stairway was too narrow to fit, for the armoire to fit in it. So after all of this, weeks and weeks and weeks, like almost 2 months of custom work on our armoire, of her paying $2,400 for it, of it arriving, having some damage, and I'll tell you what we did to help to take care of that damage in a little bit. But to finally get the armoire for her birthday, which she'd been looking forward to put in her office, to be able to work from home and kind of monitor her kids and do like homeschooling stuff from this computer armoire, it wouldn't even fit. The armoire was too big for her stairway to go up it into her office. Whew. So that was a learning experience too, not just to inform customers, like when you do have big pieces or when you're ordering or thinking about ordering big pieces of furniture, not just to measure like the room that it will go in, but like through, is it going to fit down a long, narrow hallway into a room? If you have a long piece of furniture, sometimes it can go down a hallway, but there's not enough room for it to make the curve to get into a room or to go up a flight of stairs. And so, what had happened with this armoire was she and I talked, and this was a custom yellow paint that I had created. And I did save some, like, I just had some left over. So, I had offered her to get an estimate for a repair person to come and fix the top of the armoire, which really was where the damage was. And she said she would think about it, but ultimately, she had decided that it wasn't so bad, like that she just declined, to have a repair person come and fix it. And we would have covered that. Like we would have paid for that. And so also, and the shipper had offered to pay her for it, for the damage, and she declined that, just very gracious. So what I did do is we ordered her new levelers from Amazon and had them sent to her home. She said that her husband was handy and that he could do some repair on it. And then I had mailed her a pint of paint, which was a custom yellow. So it's not something she could have gone to the store or bought or ordered from a paint company. So I sent her the paint that I had, and she had what she needed for them to fix it, for it to look good. And they decided just to, since it wouldn't fit in her office, they would keep looking for something else smaller, and they were going to use this in like another room downstairs, which she said it ended up being just fine. So those are some things that we've learned just from one shipping experience. And there's other things along the way that we've learned from shipping experiences as well. And here's what I will say is that when those types of things happen, working with the customer and is just imperative to providing good customer service. Like even if it costs you money to offer to have a repair done, like a repair person in their area come and fix it, if it costs you money to order them supplies, like taking care of your customer and going above and beyond will definitely help to grow your business, to let your business be credible, and just to have happy customers, which is what we all want. So here's what I am coming to learn, and I'm sure you are too, like if you have started shipping, is that things will go wrong. Like you will have things that will go wrong. We will have, and we need to budget for those things. So if you get paid for an Etsy order or for a sale, like holding back some of that money until everything is delivered. And because you might need to see, maybe will I need to order something for the customer if a damage happens, which is not very often. Of everything that we've shipped, just this is the only time that damage has happened. So under 10. And I think that will decrease as we ship more items and learn as we go. But having some funds set back to like emergency fund to take care of these situations can be vastly beneficial. Wrapping and packaging and doing, like, taking the time to do those things well are very beneficial. We had something we had shipped recently. A guy had a huge truck and trailer, almost, oh gosh, it was probably 35-foot trailer. And there was another, like a Etsy sale on there that he was delivering. It was a small blue buffet. And he had told, and it wasn't packaged at all. It just, like, he had thrown a blanket over it. Because on UShip, some shippers will say, oh, there's no need for you to package it. Like, we'll blanket wrap it. So I've come to learn that on that yellow one, we didn't package it because the shipper had said it's easier for him to move if it's blanket wrapped. But if we had, so we didn't package that particular one. But if we did package it, it still wouldn't have protected it from the Cadillac hitting into it. And on that, I will say a Cadillac ran into my armoire, and essentially it had a couple of cracks in the top crest, but it was okay. So that, like, essentially, I mean, it was okay for 90% of it. So that tells me that the furniture that we're redoing, that we're so worried about, like the most minute damage happening to it, when you're shipping solid wood furniture, I mean, it's hard to really damage it. Like, things can go wrong, but it is hard for, like, a Cadillac hit mine and it had a couple of cracks in it. So probably you're not going to have a car run into your piece of furniture when you ship it. And so it will most likely be okay. I will say this, because of that experience, now I ask shippers, or I'll put in a footnote that I request that, my furniture not be shipped with vehicles, because I know what can happen. And it is, even when you properly secure a vehicle, if they have to slam on their brakes, it can still go through the straps and everything. And so, I mean, I would say potentially it could even, if it was secured with chains, it could bust through chains. So you might consider doing that as well, like limiting what your furniture can be shipped with. For me, the only limit I have now is, I request that, my furniture not be shipped together in the same trailer with a vehicle that can crash into it and damage it. So I've learned to add that. But ultimately, it's really hard to damage, a good solid wood piece of furniture. So it's, as much as they are babies, mostly they're going to be okay. And it all pans out, like, while there are mishaps and occasional damage and things that happen, that things that go wrong, if we come to expect them, that if sooner or later something is going to happen, we don't freak out, we don't blow up, we don't stress out when those things happen. We're prepared and ready to deal with it. We know we can offer our customers to have some repairs done to their furniture. You can maybe offer to give them a small discount on their purchase price. You can offer to send them paint and supplies or what they might need to repair it themselves. So there's always solutions if something goes wrong. Most of the time, things don't go wrong, but you will have things show up, like room to park a trailer, where to load and unload. And as you begin, you learn by doing it. You learn shipping by shipping. And that's how you do it. You learn to pack furniture by packing furniture. You learn how to redesign and paint and remodel furniture and build furniture by just doing it. And so that's how we've learned from our shipping experience. And in a few days, I will have a video uploaded for you on how we now pack our furniture, like the best way that we've come up in packaging big pieces of furniture through trial and error, and, like, not really trial and error, but the most efficient way after trying a few different ways. So that is all I have to share with you today. It was really a piece of furniture that had, once it was done on the shipping, every single possible thing that could go wrong with it went wrong with it, and it still came out okay. It cost us a little bit of money to help, provide what needed to be provided to repair it, but it wasn't much. The customer is gracious. If you have a good rapport and good communication with them throughout the process, they will work with you as much as you will work with them. And that's one thing I've learned, and that's very encouraging and pleasant to know. So good luck to you guys if you're thinking about shipping furniture. And you can also, like I said, you can leave me a message or a comment and let me know some other things, that maybe questions you have, or what you would like to know about shipping furniture or selling furniture that you've redesigned on Etsy. I hope you guys have a great week, and I will talk to you later. And if you don't mind, this video and other videos have been helpful. Would you please take just a moment and like this video and subscribe to it? Thanks a lot, guys, and have a good day.